You know what really bugs me when you're using an AI model? Hallucinations and non-deterministic outputs. But there's a new model out there called Interfaze that aims to solve these issues. So Interfaze just released their beta model for early preview, and I tried it and I think it's really cool. So in today's video, we're gonna take a look at Interfaze, see how it works, and I'll run some fun tests with it, including a task where I will try to decipher the recently declassified UFO documents published by the Pentagon and see if we can solve some mysteries together. It's gonna be a lot of fun, so let's dive into it. So what exactly is Interfaze and how does it differ from other models? Well, most of the models we use, like GPT-4 or Gemini, are monolithic transformers. They are generalist models, and when you give them a document, the entire massive model tries to guess the next word. Interface takes a completely different approach. It uses a hybrid architecture. Inside Interface, there's a stack of task-specific encoders. Think of these as mini experts. There's a specialized convolutional neural network, specifically for vision and OCR, and a deep neural network stack for audio and speech. So instead of asking a giant brain to read an image, Interface hands that image to the CNN first, and then the CNN does the heavy lifting. It identifies the shapes, the text blocks, and the coordinates, and it then hands that structured data to the transformer orchestrator to turn it into human language. The Interface team actually released a new benchmark called SOB, or Structured Output Benchmark. And how it works is that usually we measure if a model can output valid JSON, but SOB measures if the content inside that JSON is actually correct. In their testing, Interface Beta is outperforming models like Gemini-3-Flash and GPT-5.4-Mini in deterministic tasks, things like extracting data from complex charts or multilingual transcription. And this is a massive relief because I know I'm not the only one who gets frustrated when a model just forgets the format. You ask for JSON and 9 times out of 10 it's fine, but then there's that one time where it decides to add a helpful introductory sentence or just skips the closing bracket entirely, and that inconsistency kills the production pipeline. So Interface handles this differently because structured output isn't an afterthought. It's built into how the model actually sees and processes the task from the start. And because Interface uses those task-specific encoders, it's actually pretty good at web scraping too. It treats a web page like a structured map, which is able to pull clean data out of the chaos without getting lost in the boilerplate code. And one more thing that really stands out from other models is tweakable guardrails. So usually safety filters are like a black box. They're either on or off, and they often over-refuse perfectly valid requests. But Interface lets you actually dial these in. You can adjust the sensitivity based on your specific use case. So if you're analyzing an image and the model sees a cleavage or something, it doesn't just shut down and give you a blocked response. You can configure it to stay helpful while still following your preferred safety requirements. So all that sounds wonderful, but let's actually test it out and see how it performs. And another cool thing is that you can start with a free account and you will get $20 in free credits. And their pricing is, I think it's $1.50 per 1 million tokens. So that's plenty. It's actually pretty cheap. So you can try a bunch of experiments on the free tier. So the first cool thing I noticed in the Interface dashboard is that we have this system prompt builder here where we can choose what kind of parameters do we want to have for our specific task. And then it gives us a code snippet output that we can just copy and paste. And here we can actually try one of the guardrails. So let's see, if we activate all the guardrails, it has this sample prompt, tell me how to make a bomb. And after a few seconds, yep, we see that this is an unsafe request, so the guardrails are working perfectly. And another cool thing is that we can tweak the temperature, the top P, and the max completion tokens for your desired task as well. So now let's try a simple web search. For this example, I'm just gonna search for the latest articles that mention NVIDIA's newest chips on the web. Let's see how it performs. And as you see, it gives me this structured JSON output with the headlines. And then if we click this button over here, it expands the output and we can see it's all very well structured. But if this is too detailed, we can just click back to the sample output and this gives us the exact thing that we asked, which was like the top 3 headlines for this task. And once again, I love that everything is outputted in a JSON format, so you always know what you're gonna get. There's no guessing of what the non-deterministic outputs are gonna give you. And I think this is really helpful for developers specifically, because a lot of times we know the format we want to get and nothing else, and we just wanna stick to that one format. All right, now let's try something really, really juicy. So Interface claims that they have very high OCR scores. So I'm gonna put this up to the ultimate challenge. So as you know, Pentagon recently declassified the UFO documents, and I went on their page, and as you can see, some of the pages, some of the documents, look at that. Wow, they're so hard to read, even for me. Like, look at this white text on the black background. Like, I can't even read it without an OCR. So it's going to be interesting to see if it can actually parse these pages. And then I'm going to choose like another example. This one has like a handwritten note on it. So that will be our second example. Okay, so now let's ask it to read this document and extract all the text present in said document. Okay, so I see that it returns some kind of a JSON. And if I expand it, there's even more data. And if we drill even deeper, you can see that there's actually information about all the bounding boxes and where specifically in the page they are located. But this is one thing that is missing from this whole dashboard system that they have here. There's no way to actually preview this. So I vibe coded a little HTML page that lets me preview these documents and copy the expanded JSON output that Interface gives me, and then I can feed it in this web page and it will display visually all the text boxes with the text and everything. So I'm gonna add a link to the repo so you can download this project on your own if you want to try it out as well. Okay, so this is the app, and here we can see the text boxes. And each text box also has a confidence score. And if the confidence score is higher than 70%, it's going to show up as green. If not, it's going to be yellow. And if it's very low, then it's going to be red. And of course, UFO in section 1 has a high confidence because it's easy to read. But now let's check this page. Wow. Even Interface had a hard time deciphering everything on this page, but let's look at it. Let's see one of the green boxes. Nope, this is still gibberish. Flapjacks. Okay, yeah, so flying flapjacks, which are, so it's probably which are thin and round. Thin and round, got that correctly. And then, yeah, it couldn't decipher the rest. So you can see that Interface is really struggling with some of the areas, but I think it did a pretty nice job. Like, given such an old document that's even hard for a human to read, I feel like it's pretty impressive. I have another example which did contain a handwritten note. So let's see what we get out of that. Federal, well, this is clearly Bureau of Investigation, I guess. So this is interesting. We can actually decipher something here. Thought it was a balloon, but it went in a definite direction at an, I don't know what this is, but we can see that this note has something to do with I guess an eyewitness trying to explain what they saw, gradually ascending following a path, similar to the trajectory of a bullet. Wow, okay, so we're getting some UFO stuff here, actually. Decreased in the distance for math. Yeah, I don't know if that's correct, but well done, well done. I mean, like, I am amazed. I think this OCR did a better job than I as a human. So pretty good. And here's another example of a text that is easier to read. And we can see that because a lot of the boxes are actually green. The only problem here is that Some of the text is a bit faded. I am amazed. There's a lot of cool things here that it was able to decipher, so that is pretty cool. And of course, it was fun looking at some declassified UFO documents. So if any of you UFO fans want to sift through the documents, then you can give Interfaze a try. Maybe we'll find something juicy or something interesting in this pile of declassified documents. So there you have it, folks. That is Interfaze. I honestly think it's a pretty cool AI model that is very developer specific. If I would be creating an app and I would want to have 100% certainty that I want a deterministic output every time I give a prompt, I think this is one of the best tools out there, because it does give you a very structured JSON every time and you can count on it. It's not going to hallucinate. At least that is the idea behind this tool. So if that's something you're looking for, definitely try Interfaze out. So if you do try it out, let me know in the comments down below how you like it. And folks, as always, if you like these types of technical breakdowns, please let me know by smashing that like button underneath the video. And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. This has been Andres from BetterStack, and I will see you in the next videos.